Good afternoon and welcome to PHCC's virtual program showcase, where today we are featuring our early childhood and teacher education prep program. For any students that are joining us live, please type your name and high school in the chat box. We ask that you keep yourself muted throughout the presentation, and if you have any questions, please use the chat feature to ask those during the call, and afterwards we will respond to those during our Q&A portion of the call. Today's call is hosted by the PHCC career coaches representing all the high schools in Henry County, Martinsville, and Patrick County. Our job is to help you make informed decisions about your career goals and to help you have a successful transition into post-secondary training and education. While we typically host on-campus field trips and we really miss having you guys here with us in person, we're happy to have this virtual option for you and just have this tool available to you to use until we can be together again. Quickly, we're going to introduce ourselves before the program call with Miss Delaney. My name is Alyssa Rohr, and I'm the career coach for Magna Vista High School. When we are in session, my office is located at the front of the building in the guidance office. And when we are all virtual, I'm working from my PHCC office at main campus in the Philpott building.
Hi, I'm Shrika Williams, and I am the Bassett High School career coach. When I am at Bassett, I'm located on the small math hallway across from Miss Craig and Miss Yeaman. When I'm at PHCC, I'm located in Philpott Hall.
I'm Christy Lester. I'm the career coach for Martinsville High School. While at the high school, I'm in the guidance department. My office at Patrick Henry is in the Philpott building.
I'm Diane Hughes. I have an office at our DeHart Park campus in Stewart. I can meet with students by appointment there. Just email me to set up an appointment. I am also at Patrick County High School on Tuesdays and Thursdays right now, and my office is located next to the cafeteria.
Thank you all. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and we are going to turn our attention over to Dr. Kristen Delaney today, and she's going to share some information about her program.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm just going to share this. Can you guys all see that? Okay. All right, so I am head of two programs at Patrick Henry dealing with education. One is early childhood, and one we call teacher ed prep that falls under general studies. And the big thing that you need to think about is, what is your ultimate goal? What do you really want to do on your career path? What kind of job do you want? So I just have a couple of questions today to help guide your thinking and things that I would ask you if you were talking to me in person and interested in either of these programs. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, why do you even want to become a teacher? You know, you really have to like kids and you have to like focusing on them and focusing on student success. And teaching is not always easy, and you're not going to be a millionaire. So you have to really consider why you are going into this career in the first place. And so teaching has to really be something that you're interested in. And when you're taking classes at Patrick Henry, you do some practicum experiences where you actually spend up to 40 hours in a classroom. And that really helps students to either say, yes, this is exactly what I want to do, I'm so excited. Or sometimes students will say, that's not really for me, I think I'm going to change to something else. And that's absolutely fine. And, part of being in the program and kind of exploring your interests is deciding, yes, this is the right path, or no, it's not. So that's the first thing, is deciding kind of what your motivations are for your career path. The next thing that you really need to think about is what age group you want to work with. So when you're looking at the early childhood program, we cover birth all the way through third grade. So it's kind of our youngest learners. So these are students who are interested in working with infants and toddlers and kind of that very crucial stage where kids are having rapid brain development, and it's a really important time to make sure that they have all the foundational skills they need to be successful when they start school. And it's definitely not babysitting. It's really important to understand child development and developmentally appropriate practices, just like you would for kindergarten, 3rd grade, 8th grade, even with those youngest kids. So also pre-K to 3rd grade, if you're interested in that kind of younger block, early childhood would still be where you would or could go. So if you're interested more in elementary or middle school, the teacher ed prep would be more appropriate for you. So with this route, you would be thinking about teaching grades pre-K to 6th grade, or you can also be licensed to teach pre-K to 8th grade. So either one of those routes would be open to you with the teacher ed prep route. So another thing you want to consider is what type of setting you would like to work in. So sometimes people come to me and they say, you know, I really want to work in a private childcare center. I want to be a lead teacher, or I want to be a director, or I want to open my own center in the area or in my home, you know, whatever it might be. And so those people are definitely interested in more of the early childhood route. If you want to do Head Start or early Head Start as well, you would go that direction. If you want to be a paraprofessional in a public school or a licensed teacher in that pre-K to 3rd grade range, that early childhood program would also be appropriate for you. So if you want kind of a broader range and you know that you want to teach in a public school setting or a private school setting with school age kids, then the teacher ed prep would be your best route. So I always talk with students about, you know, where do you see yourself going with your career, you know, down the road, if you know, want to be a principal, or you want to be you know, a reading specialist, or you want to go into special education with older kids or school age kids, then the teacher ed prep program would really be more appropriate for you. And it would give you a little, I guess, some more options as far as what you could do in a public school setting. So elementary school teacher, middle school teacher, or as I said, past that, if you ever see yourself wanting to get a master's in administration to be a principal, or a master's in reading to be a reading specialist, then you can continue to build on your associate's, your bachelor's, and then your master's degree for those types of goals. So the other thing you want to think about is, where do you want to transfer? The reason it's important to think about this ahead of time is because if you go with the early childhood route, it's a very specific degree with requirements that are the same no matter where you go. And you can transfer to Longwood University, and they have a site at the New College Institute in Martinsville that you can go to. They offer night classes, usually from 6 to 8 in the evening, where you go twice a week and then you're online the next week, kind of thing, with your classes. JMU offers an all online option for early childhood, and then Radford, George Mason, VCU, ODU, they're all offering programs on their campus for their bachelor's degree if you wanted to move away for your university studies. And Averett's currently working on one for early childhood. So there's a lot of options, but it is more limited. If you're going into the general studies teacher prep route, you can pretty much transfer anywhere you want to. The catch will be is that right now some schools require about 4 or 5 different classes in the degree plan. So for example, if you are taking your math class for your general studies degree, if you're going to Longwood, or if you're going to Radford, or if you're going, you know, somewhere else, you may need a different math class. So it's important to touch base with me or your advisor to make sure that you're taking all of the right courses. And I always say that in the first year of your associate degree, you can take the classes that everybody takes if you're not really sure yet where you want to transfer. But by the second year, you really need to nail down your decision of where you want to go next and what your next steps are, because you definitely don't want to take classes that you don't need or transfer and figure out that you are a semester behind where you should be when you go in. So these are just kind of some options of where students go when they're leaving. It's not all of them, but we can definitely talk about options for local schools that offer programs, online schools, and schools if you're going to go away to a university. So if you choose the early childhood route, it's a little bit differently. We have 2 certificates that lead into the full associate degree. So what you would do is start with the first step, which is really your introductory courses. And you take classes like Intro to Education, Guiding Behavior, Assessment and Observation. You actually go into a classroom and observe, and you assess students and connect that to instruction. And you learn about health, safety, nutrition, that kind of stuff. So then you move into the next semester, which is where you get into the next certificate, and it's more methods courses like how to teach early literacy, how to teach math, science, social studies, how to integrate the arts in your lessons, that kind of stuff. And then when you go to your second year, you're getting into the associate's level courses. So it keeps building, but here you're taking courses on Intro to Teaching, where you do get into the school age part of, how is that different from a child care center. You take a class about Intro to Exceptional Children, infants and toddlers, and you also do kind of a final practicum course where you take everything you've learned and put it together, where you actually teach lessons, you assess what kids know and don't know, and that guides your instruction, your decisions, and you write up about your experience and kind of show me how you integrated everything that you've learned across the degree. So it's a great program, and it's filled with lots of education courses. There are some general studies courses as well, like biology, US history, there's a math, children's lit, some things like that. But it's not as many general studies, it's more education courses in this degree. And as I said, you can transfer and get your bachelor's degree. You can get your pre-K to 3rd grade teaching license. You can also earn your birth to pre-K special education endorsement, or you can just pursue a bachelor's degree without the teaching license if you're more interested in positions that you would just need the bachelor's degree, such as doing training and technical assistance for childcare centers, where you go in and do coaching for teachers and do professional development and things like that. So the general studies degree, I just kind of transferred along with. Some of you want to go to Radford or JMU. So everybody, may have a little bit of a different path, and I can help you to determine what you need and what your next steps are, and connect you with a person at your transfer school as well to help you. And then we just get you registered and kind of move forward through the degree program and just support you however we need until you complete and transfer to your next step. So that's all I have. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. I'm going to stop sharing here too.
I'm going to unmute myself here. All right. Thank you so much for sharing information about your program today, Kristen. We really appreciate it. One of the questions we had were, what are the best characteristics or the most successful students that you have? What are some characteristics that they possess?
They have to be very patient and very flexible, and able to adjust when they need to, and work in any kind of circumstance, making the best and being positive in any kind of circumstance. And even in the last year with COVID, we've seen teachers have to pivot and change and learn new things and, teach online and all that stuff. So it's important to be able to stay up to date with kind of the latest things that are going on and making sure you're current with everything in the education field. And also, I would say students that come in that are very strong have very good time management skills. They are able to keep up with all of their courses and their assignments and really spend the time. Like I said, child development is so important, understanding how kids learn and how to apply what you're learning to a lesson plan or to an interaction with a child. It's not just, you know, I'm going to look up a fun lesson plan on the internet and teach it and be a success. That's not enough. So you have to really want to invest in what you're learning and how to connect that to a classroom setting.
Great. Can you explain to us the difference in the length of programs, a certificate versus associate's degree?
Sure. So the associate degree for either track you go is going to be 2 years if you go full time. If you go part time, then it'll obviously be a little bit longer, depending on how many classes you take per semester. In the early childhood program, sometimes people will come in and say, I just want to get my certificate and I want to stop. So if you're full-time, you can get the first certificate in 1 semester and then the second certificate in a year, because they would just build onto each other. And you can stop after that if you want to, or you can continue going on to the associate's part.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Do you coaches have any other questions? Okay, I'm going to share again quickly the career coaches information here for students to see our names and contact information. If you're interested in learning more about this program or other programs at PH, please contact your career coach. We have a checklist for seniors of next steps you need to take to make sure that you're on the right path and making the right choices for which program is going to work best for you. Your career coach can help you navigate the seed fund opportunity, scholarships, the financial aid application, your FAFSA, and give you step-by-step guidance on your PH application. We'll also help you get registered in April when classes open up for the summer and fall. So please just contact us. We're available and ready to help you, and we will get you in touch with Miss Delaney Dr. Delaney, if you are interested in her program. This session today will be recorded and available for access afterwards. Thank you all for participating in today's event, and we hope you have a good evening.